Hi, I'm Jen, creator and founder of Grateful Recipe. Thanks for joining me. Today I want to share with you a lunchbox friendly version of a protein ball. So it's been really difficult for me sending my son to school with something that's not processed and then doesn't have any peanuts. So I've come up with this recipe that I like to call sneaky double chocolate chia seed protein balls. And here's what you need. 1.5 cups of rolled oats. You're going to need about 8 dates soaked in warm water. I use some flaxseed at the end as a filler. I've got my chia seeds here. I've got 1 tablespoon of chia seeds and 3 tablespoons of water, and they've been soaking for about 3 hours. You only need about 15 minutes to soak them though, so don't worry about that. I've got 1/4 cup of chocolate chips, and I've got a tablespoon of honey. I've got 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1 whole tablespoon of cacao powder. So let's get started. I'm just gonna add my oatmeal, my chocolate chips, my cacao powder. I'm gonna add my cinnamon, and then I'm just gonna mix those dry ingredients together. And I'm also gonna add right there, before we go any further, a little dash of salt. So it's probably 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I think salt in anything, just a tiny bit, will bring out the flavor. And you often think, oh, it's a sweet flavor, so I don't need salt, but adding salt sometimes just gives it that pop over the edge that makes it that much more delicious. That looks really good from there. So from here, I'm just gonna add my dates that have been soaked. Remember, there's only 1/4 cup of those dates, and believe it or not, only 1 tablespoon of chia seeds that have been soaking, and you really only need about 10 to 15 minutes for them to soak, although some people like to soak them overnight, and that's fine as well. So once that's all in there, I'm gonna go ahead and then just zhuzh it up with my hand blender. And from there, I'm just gonna take my mixture and put it into my oats. Now the chia seeds are fabulous binders. They make this recipe stay together, and they're really high in omega-3, protein, and antioxidants. So this makes it a perfect snack for kids at school. I'm going to add my honey now for the sweetness. You may wish not to add the honey. You might find it sweet enough. And I'm just going to give it a good stir. Now you're just looking for a good consistency here. We're going to pop these in the freezer, so you want the consistency of the oatmeal and the chia seeds to be firm, that you can make little balls with. And that's why I have the linseed here on as a filler. I may or may not use it, just depending on whether or not, the dates absorbed more water or whatever. It's just always a little bit different. So just know that you may need to add a little bit of extra water, or that you may need to add a little bit of filler. In this case, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of linseed or flaxseed meal and continue. From here, I'm going to get my hands in there and I'm going to start rolling the balls. Now I use a spoon, the same spoon every time, and I make sure that every time I roll it, it just gives me a nice even consistency so that all the balls will be shaped the same, and it looks better. So there's 1 ball. So I'm just going to pop these in the freezer, and before I put them in my son's lunch, I'll take them out that morning and I'll pop them in. Now this is a tray that I prepared earlier, and what I'm going to do is just get them ready for lunch boxes. I've got some Ziploc bags, and I'm just going to put 2 in. So these are frozen, and I just place 2 in a baggie, and I will keep them in the freezer and pop them in my son or daughter's lunch in the morning. And then that way they can last up to a week or 2 weeks in the fridge. Actually, they probably won't even last that long. They're very delicious and the kids love to have them as treats. And there you have it. Sneaky double chocolate chia seed protein balls.